yoga with social distancing. It's a little bit weird for me to be recording videos like this, but I feel like everything is a little bit weird right now, so we have to kind of just find a way to be more comfortable with things that we're uncomfortable with, and therefore I am going to keep recording these videos even though they make me a little bit uncomfortable. So let's start our practice together today by finding a comfortable seated position on our mat. That can mean different things for different people on different days. So if your hips are feeling a little bit tight, you can sit kneeling, you can sit back on your heels, or you can sit on a block if that's more comfortable for you. The block can be high or medium, or you can sit cross-legged, whatever works for you. We just want to find a space where we can sit really tall and not have to extend a whole lot of effort to stay tall. So once you've found your comfortable seated position, you can let your eyes close and bring your attention first to your face. So just notice any tension that you're holding in your face. Try to release the tension, especially from your forehead. Kind of relax all the muscles around your eyes. Relax the muscles around your mouth. Make sure that your jaw is relaxed. And then bring your attention to your posture. So think about getting a little bit taller through the crown of the head, as if there's a string attached to the very crown of your head that's just gently tugging upwards. So you're making a little bit more space between your vertebrae, just getting a little bit longer. And then you can start to notice your breathing. So we're not changing anything just yet, just being aware of what we're starting with today. So are you breathing quickly or slowly, deeply or shallowly? And is your breath any indication of your emotions today? And then we'll transition into our pranayama, our breath exercise, practicing today Dirga Swasana, the complete 3-part yogic breath. So with your next inhalation in through your nose, draw the breath all the way down into your belly, feeling your abdomen expand. And as you keep inhaling, feel your ribcage expand. And as you continue that inhale, let your chest lift up. And exhale in reverse, let the chest fall down, ribcage draws in, and navel draws back towards the spine, emptying out the last bit of air. Inhaling again into the belly, ribs, and chest. And exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. Inhaling again into the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. And continuing like this at your own pace for a couple more rounds, really working to make the inhalations and exhalations the same length. Maybe 3 counts, maybe 4 counts. Keeping those inhalations and exhalations really long and smooth and even. And maybe adding a short hold at the top and bottom of the breath, maybe 2 or 3 counts, just pausing in that space where you're neither inhaling nor exhaling. The next time that you exhale all the way, let the following inhalation be really easy and natural. And let your eyes float open. And we'll start practice today Moving really slowly, warming up the joints of the neck and shoulders. So first let your chin fall down toward your chest. Feel a really gentle stretch into the back side of the neck. And then roll your head over to the right. Right ear down towards the right shoulder, both shoulders coming down towards the ground at the same time. Now that stretches in the left side of your neck. And then roll your head down over to the left ear coming down towards the left shoulder, both shoulders coming down to the ground. And then your head roll down towards center and all the way around, making really big, smooth circles with the crown of the head, keeping the neck long as you reach the head backwards, being really gentle and careful not to crunch into the cervical vertebrae. And the next time your chin is down toward your chest, pause there for a moment, and then roll the head around in the other direction, moving to the left now. Still being really careful, especially as you reach the head backwards, working not to crunch into the cervical vertebrae. And the next time that your chin is down towards your chest, we'll pause. And then interlace the fingers and place the hands at the very base of the skull, applying very gentle pressure. Just bring the chin slightly closer down towards the chest. Slightly bigger stretch into the back of the neck. And release the hands and gently lift the head back up to neutral. And we'll warm up the shoulders, roll the shoulders backwards. Bring your hands to your shoulders, roll your elbows backwards. And then swim the arms backwards, and as you do, just take a small spinal twist by following the hands with the eyes. So each time that you reach backwards, just a very gentle spinal twist. And then swim the arms forwards, still following the hands with the eyes. So it's a nice, gentle spinal twist as you reach back. And then hands to shoulders, roll the elbows forwards. And relax the hands down, just roll the shoulders forwards. Relax the shoulders. We're going to walk the hands out in front of us, coming into a table position. We'll start with some cat-cows. So take a really nice big inhalation in your neutral table. And as you exhale, round the spine up towards the ceiling, looking inwards towards the navel, really pressing into the shins, the tops of the feet, and the hands to round the spine up as high as you can. And then with the inhalation, let the belly come down towards the ground. Lift the chest and the head. Look forward. Press into the hands and the shins. Again, this time stretching into the front side of the body. And exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And inhale to your neutral table. Then we're going to take the right leg and extend it straight behind us. Try and keep the toes pointing down for now, so that the hip is pretty square. The right hip is staying down towards the ground. And then we're going to take the left hand and extend it straight out in front of us. Take a nice big inhalation here and extend outwards. So the left hand is going forward and the right foot is going back. And as you exhale, we're going to round inwards, send the spine up towards the ceiling, and get really, really small. And then inhale, extend, and exhale, get tiny. And inhale, extend, and exhale, get small. Inhale, extend, exhale, get small. Inhale, extend, and last one, round and get really nice and little. Then inhale, extend. We'll bend the right knee, reach around with the left hand, and then gently apply pressure from the foot into the hand. So the foot is pressing into the hand to start to lift the foot up a little bit higher, and then you can press into the right hand and the left shin to lift up a little bit more, stretching into the front side of the body. And we'll carefully release. Place the right knee on the ground and the left hand down on the mat. Take a nice big inhalation here. Exhale to cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And inhale to your neutral table. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Send the left foot straight back, keeping the left hip down towards the ground. Engage that back leg, flex the left foot, and then send the right hand straight out in front. We'll take a nice big inhalation to extend, get really long through the body, and then exhale, get really small, roll up into a little ball, sending the spine up towards the ceiling, left knee to the right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, little. Inhale, extend. Exhale, little. Inhale, extend. Exhale, little. And last one, inhale to extend. And exhale, get really small. Inhale, back out. And then we'll bend to the left knee. Reach around with the right hand to grab the left foot. Start to press the left foot into the right hand. And then really start to lift that foot up towards the ceiling by pressing down into the left hand, grounding down to lift up. A nice stretch for the front side of the body, into the front side of the left leg, maybe into the hip a little bit as well. And then we'll come out really carefully, send the left leg straight back, right hand straight forward, and gently place it down. We'll take an inhalation, exhale, cat pose, inhale, cow pose, exhale, cat pose, and inhale to neutral. And then we'll thread the needle, so we'll first send the left hand up towards the ceiling, and then thread that left hand through, bringing the left shoulder and the left temple down to the ground. And we'll open up the right hand towards the ceiling, really spiraling the chest open and upwards. And if you want to, you can take that right hand, reach behind you, grab the left thigh, and really use that traction on your left thigh to open up the chest towards the ceiling. Send the right hand back up towards the ceiling. Press the right hand down to the ground to come out. And come back up to your table position. And from this table position, we're going to take a puppy pose to stretch out the shoulders. So keeping the hips right over the knees, walk the hands straight out in front of you, sending the chest down towards the ground. If it's more comfortable, you can put the forehead onto the ground instead of the chin. If your back is really bendy and your chest is already on the ground, and you're having more of kind of a sensation into the back than into the shoulders, you can engage the core, draw the ribcage in, That'll straighten out the spine. It'll lift the shoulders further away from the ground so that you can get more stretch into the shoulders by engaging the core. And then we'll walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. And we'll thread the needle on the other side. So now setting the right hand up towards the ceiling, we'll thread the right hand through, bring the right shoulder and the right temple down to the ground. Left hand up towards the ceiling. And if you want to, left hand can reach around to the right thigh, lift the left shoulder up towards the ceiling, open up the chest, look up, nice spinal twist. And the left hand comes back up. Press the left hand into the ground to come back to your table position. From here, we'll take another round of cat-cow. So take another inhalation. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And inhale to neutral. And now we'll extend the right leg straight behind us. And instead of keeping the toes pointing down towards the ground, we're going to open up this hip, kind of like when we are in a half moon pose. So now our toes are going to be pointing out to the side. And we're going to take a nice big inhalation, extend send the foot backwards. And as we exhale, we're going to send the right foot straight over to the right. And inhale back, exhale right. So we're trying to keep the foot parallel to the ground, keeping a nice height in that foot, and exhale back, and inhale over. So that we're really engaging the side muscles to bring the foot forwards, and we're engaging the hip muscles to keep the foot up, and exhale back. And one more inhale forward. And exhale back. Then turn the right knee down and lower the right knee down to the ground. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Take the left foot straight back. Open up the hip so the left foot is pointing out to the side instead of pointing down towards the ground. We'll take an inhalation to extend, to get long. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring that left foot forward, keeping that left foot at hip height and bringing it as far forward as we can, and then exhale it back. Inhale forward and exhale back. And one more time, inhale forward and exhale back. And then turn the foot down, lower the knee down to the ground. And we're going to come into our downward facing dog pose. So from here, we'll take our hands out one hand length from where they are. Send the hips up and back. Setting up this very first down dog, taking any motions that you need in order to start warming up the back of the legs, start paying attention to where you might feel tight, where you might need to be a little bit more careful as you move through class today. From this downward facing dog, walk your hands back, all the way back to the back of the mat, coming into your first standing forward folds. Let your body hang forward. If it's more comfortable for you, hold on to the elbows with the hands. Let yourself ragdoll forward. And you can sway around in this forward fold, move the weight forward and backwards in the feet. Really just waking up the calves, the hamstrings, the back of the knees, even just the Achilles tendons. Then release your hands back down to the ground. Walk your hands all the way out to your plank pose. So we'll pause here in this plank pose, really working on getting our hips, heels, and shoulders in one straight line, and noticing if we're pushing too far out of our shoulders. If our shoulder blades are kind of domed up, we want to lower our chest down and a little bit forward while keeping the back straight. So this is going to be a lot more work for the core. And then keeping your hands and your feet in exactly the same place, just lift the hips up and send them back, coming back into your downward facing dog. Then take little steps forward with the feet, coming all the way towards the front of the mat. You can keep a bend in your knees for this forward fold, and again, just relax forward. And again, if you'd rather take ragdoll, you're welcome to hold on to the elbows with the hands. Just let yourself hang forward. Stay here for a couple breaths. Relax, sway from side to side. Try to release all the muscles in the lower back and the belly. Anything that's holding you up out of your forward fold, just release into it. Relax your hands down towards the ground again. Make sure that you have a bend in your knees at this point. And then we'll slowly roll up to stand, stacking the vertebrae nice and slow. Leaving the head and neck for last. Making our way to Tadasana at the top of our mat. So grounding down through the feet. Engaging the legs. A small tuck to the hips. Navel back towards the spine, rib cage down, shoulders down and back. So really, really grounded and strong in our mountain pose, this foundation of all of our standing poses. We'll do some modified sun salutations to start building some heat. So with an inhalation, bring your arms up alongside your ears, look up. Exhale, forward fold, keeping your spine long for as long as you can, and then letting the back round as you come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, we're going to twist to the right, taking the left hand to the outside of the right leg, and the right hand's coming up towards the ceiling, look up at that raised hand. And then exhale, down to your forward folds. Inhale, step the right foot back as far as you can, and then lower the right knee down to the ground. Look forward, lift the chest, send the hips down. Take a nice stretch here. And then exhale, plant the hands, send the left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank pose. And exhale, you can lower straight down to your belly, or you can lower knees, chest and chin for Ashtagrasana, 8-point pose. And with an inhalation, press into the hands to gently glide the body forward to a really small cobra pose. A cobra pose that you don't need your hands for. And then we'll exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot all the way to the front of the mat. Lower the left knee down to the ground. And look forward, hips down, nice stretch. And then exhale, left foot meets the right in your standing forward folds. Inhale, come all the way to stand, arms up. And exhale, hands down. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, standing forward fold. Inhale, twist to the left first this time. So left hand up, look up towards that raised arm. And then exhale to fold. Inhale, twist to the right. Right hand up, look up towards your raised hand. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, step the left foot back as far as you can. Lower the left knee down to the ground. Look forward, sink the hips. Nice stretch here. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to your plank pose. And exhale, either lower all the way to the ground or lower your knees. Chest and chin for Ashtagrasana, 8-point pose. And then inhale for your small little cobra pose. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, send the left foot all the way to the front of the mats. Lower the right knee, look forward, nice stretch. And then exhale, standing forward fold. Inhale, come all the way to stand, arms up alongside the ears. And exhale, the hands together in front of the heart. Inhale here. And exhale to your mountain pose. Taking 1 or 2 breaths here in stillness before we start moving into our more traditional Surya Namaskara A's, our sun salutation A's. So with an inhalation, bring your arms up alongside your ears. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extend through the spine, look forward. You can bring your hands to your shins if that makes this a little bit more accessible. Really think about the spine being really long. And then exhale, plant the hands, and we'll step back to our plank pose. Inhale, chest forward so that the shoulders are now in front of the wrists. And exhale, we'll lower all the way down to the ground. Flip the feet. Inhale to a full cobra pose. So it's keeping the shoulders down away from the ears, elbows back. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward between your hands and step all the way to the front of the mat, extending the spine long and exhaling for a forward fold. Inhale, come all the way to stand, arms up alongside the ears, and exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, extend long spine. Exhale, step back to your plank pose. Inhale, shift the weight forward. And exhale, all the way down to the ground. Inhale, flip the feet. Upward facing dog pose, so shoulders still down away from the ears. Shoulders back, chest open. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look between the hands. Step to the front of the mat, for long spine, look forward. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way to stand, arms up alongside your ears. And exhale, the hands together in front of the heart space. Inhale, arms up alongside the ears. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extend long spine. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders in front of the wrists. And exhale, bend the elbows, coming into your Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look between the hands. And step to the front of the mat. Extend long first. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way to stand, arms up. And exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Okay, inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend long spine. Exhale, step straight back to your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look between the hands and step to the front of the mat. Extend and fold. Inhale all the way to stand. And exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, plant the hands and hop the feet back to your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing. Inhale, look forward. Come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, and take a little hop to the front of the mat. Extend nice and long through the spine, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to stand, and exhale, hands together in front of the heart. And last one, building here. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extend, nice long spine. Exhale, plant the hands, pop back to your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. And exhale, back. Inhale, look between your hands. Little hops to the front of the mat. Extend nice and long. And exhale to fold. Inhale to come all the way up. And exhale, hands together in front of your heart. Inhale here. And exhale, mountain pose. Take a couple breaths here. Noticing sensation in the body. Noticing if you're starting to build any heat. Paying attention to your breath and your heart rate. No judgment, just really appreciating the changes that you're able to cause in your own body. Just enjoying that sensation. And we'll just do one round of Surya Namaskar B. So with an inhalation, bring the arms up alongside the ears. Exhale, sink into the chair pose. So send the hips backwards. Try to bring the knees over the ankles. You can lift your toes and try to lift the chest, but keep the hips down and the back long. Take another inhalation here, lifting the chest, and then exhale for your forward fold. Inhale, extend long spine. And exhale, hop back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot between the hands to lunge. Lower the left heel down, come right up, warrior one. Bring the arms up alongside the ears, hips square to the front edge of the mat. And exhale, right down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot between the hands to a lunge. Lower the right heel down, arms up alongside the ears, right hip forward, left hip back. And exhale, right down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. With your next inhalation, look forward and step or hop to the front of the mat. Extend nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend into the knees. Bring the arms up alongside the ears, chair pose. And exhale to stand. Take a nice breath here. Again, noticing sensations inside the body, the arms, the legs, the heart, the lungs. And we'll do a couple wide-legged forward folds. So we'll take the right foot back a couple feet on the mat. How far you take that right foot back really depends on how tall you are. So the taller you are, the more space you need between your feet. And then we'll pivot on the heels. And we're going to take the hands overhead with a nice big inhalation. And exhale, bring the hands down to the ground, aiming to bring the hands between the feet. So if we had our hands and our feet on one straight line, we would not fall. With an inhalation, we'll extend, look forward, and exhale, we're going to bring the head down towards the ground, so that the top of the head's coming down towards the ground. And we're really thinking now with the head being between the hands. So you have foot, hand, head, hand, foot. Inhale up halfway, look forward. Exhale. And inhale, come all the way to stand. Bring the arms up alongside the ears. Exhale, the hands down, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open up the chest, look forward and up. And then exhale, exhale, fold forward. Let the hands come down towards the ground in front of you. And again, the top of the head's coming down towards the ground. And try to keep your weight even in your feet here. It's really easy to try to kind of lean backwards so that you don't have as much weight in your toes. Try to keep the weight in the toes and the heels. And if you want more stretch in your hands, you can try to keep the hands pressed together. So instead of letting the wrists fall apart, keep the hands pressing against each other. Then we'll bring the hands down to the ground. Inhale up halfway, look forward. Exhale. And inhale, come all the way up to stand. Bring the arms up alongside the ears. And exhale, the hands down alongside the hips. We'll do one more standing forward fold like this. Inhale, bring the arms up alongside the ears. And exhale, as we fold forward, we're going to take the peace fingers and bring them to the inside of the big toe. And then using our hands on our feet, we're going to draw the torso between the legs, really trying to make ourselves flat. The elbows can bend out to the side. Try to keep the shoulders coming down the back. And inhale up halfway. Exhale it all out. And inhale, come all the way to stand, arms up alongside the ears. And exhale the hands down. And while we're here in our sideways pose, we'll take a goddess pose. So again, we're going to inhale the arms up. And as we exhale, we're going to bend into the knees and the elbows. And think about the knees coming right over the ankles. The feet can point a little bit out, and we really want the shoulders to be as much over the hips as possible. So we're really not leaning forward or backwards, and the tailbone's really sinking straight down to the ground. And then from this goddess pose, we'll transition into humble horse. So take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, And then we're going to fold forward in our goddess pose, bringing the head down and the arms up and over. And the work here is really to keep the hips nice and low. So when we come into our humble horse, a lot of times the hips pop up. We really want to keep the hips nice and low with the hands coming up and over and the head coming down towards the ground. And out of that humble horse, we're pressing to the feet, lift the back up and bring the hands back to our goddess pose. And then we'll step up and step the right foot to meet the left at the front of the mat in our mountain pose facing forward. And to even that all out, we'll do a vinyasa. So inhale, bring the arms up alongside the ears. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, long spine, look forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And inhale, look between the hands. And step or hop to the front of the mat. Extend nice and long. And exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way to stand, arms up alongside the ears. And exhale the hands down. Okay, let's keep going. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend the long spine. And exhale, we're going to step or hop back to our chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Then we'll take the right foot up to a three-legged dog. Bend the right knee so the sole of the foot's coming towards the ceiling. And then we'll lift the right leg up so that that right hip is now stacked on top of the left hip. So we're opening up to the right. Let the right foot dangle behind you. Press into both hands and stretch open. And then we'll come back to our three-legged dog, so squaring off the hips again. And we're going to turn the right foot out, just like when we were in our table pose at the beginning of class. So now with the right foot facing outwards, we're going to take that right foot and bring it as far forward as we can. And then send it back. And a second time, right foot forward, keeping it as high as you can while bringing it forward. And then send it back. And one more time, we're going to send it forward. And then back. And then now step the right foot between the hands to a lunge. We'll lower the left knee down to the ground. And we're going to take a nice lizard pose here. So take the right hand to the inside of the right foot. And you can either stay on the hands or lower the body down towards the ground, maybe coming onto the forearms if that's comfortable for you. Maybe coming onto a block if you have one handy. And just let the hips keep sinking down towards the ground. Big stretch, nice and open. Try to pay attention if you are engaging the muscles around the hip joints to hold you up out of this pose, and see if you can relax that. Relax the muscles around the hip joints, lower back, and the belly. Let yourself sink down into this pose. And if you're on a block, we're going to come off the block. Send that block away from you. You're going to tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee up off the ground, and we're going to step the right foot on top of the left foot, shifting our hips over, and send the right hand up towards the ceiling for your side plank pose here. So trying to keep the left shoulder over the left wrist as much as possible. If your elbows are really bendy, try to keep a little micro bend in that bottom elbow to protect the joint. And keep the core engaged to stay really strong and solid in your side plank. Then lower the right hand down to the ground, coming into your regular plank. Inhale, forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, send it back. And then we'll take that same strengthening move with the left hip. We'll take the left foot up to our three-legged dog. Then we'll first stretch it out. So bend the left knee, open up the left hip by stacking the left hip on top of the right hip. Let that left foot dangle behind you, press into both hands, stretch open, whole front side of the body, front of the left hip. And then come back to your three-legged dog. So the hips are squared down towards the ground right now. Open the left hip so the left toes are pointing out to the side. And then we'll do 3 of these side crunches. So left foot as far forward as you can while keeping the leg parallel to the ground. And then send it back. And for number 2, left foot as far forward as you can. And then send it back. And the last one, left foot as far forward as you can. And back. And place the left foot all the way forward to your lunge. We'll take lizard pose on the other side to drop the right knee down to the ground. And again, if you'd rather come onto your forearms or onto a block, you're welcome to do that in your lizard pose. Really stretching out the hip joints here. If you don't feel a lot of stretch and you want to feel more stretch, you can take the front foot a little bit further forward. You can also lift the back knee up off the ground. That's another option for you. Remembering to relax all the muscles around the joints that are maybe holding you up and out of this pose, that might be protecting you from discomfort. We're going to be as comfortable as we can with that discomfort. Rather than avoiding it, just go for it. Be as uncomfortable as possible. And to come out of this pose, we'll place the hands back on the mat. And tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up. And we'll send the left foot now on top of the right foot. And lift the left hand up. Try and keep the right shoulder over the right wrist. If we need to, adding a micro bend into the bottom elbow. Staying engaged through the core to keep the core long and strong. And then we'll lower the left hand down to the mat. Inhale forward. Exhale chaturanga. Inhale upward facing dog. And exhale back. Downward facing dog. And we'll inhale forward, look between the hands, and step or hop to the front of the mat. Extend nice and long, and exhale to fold. And in this forward fold, bend the knees pretty deeply so that you can put your chest on your thighs, and we'll take the hands underneath the feet so the toes come all the way to the wrist creases. And once the hands are all the way under the feet, you can gently start to extend the legs. So if they're coming towards straight, they might not become straight. That's totally fine. If they do become straight, you can bend the elbows out to the side so that the chest comes closer to the legs. hands from out from under the feet. And we're going to take the left hand down to the ground. If the left hand doesn't reach the ground, you can grab a block and plant the hand on a block. If you don't have a block handy, you can also bend the knees so that that bottom hand is planted. You're going to need it. We're going to take the right hand, peace fingers on the inside of the right big toe, and we're going to extend the right leg as much as we can so that the right leg is straight if the left leg isn't. Preferably we have both legs straight. And we're going to open up the right leg straight out to the right. So try and get that leg parallel to the ground. Remembering to breathe, even though this is a pretty challenging pose here. And then lowering the left leg slowly back down to the ground. And we'll set it up on the other side. So on the other side, we will plant the right hand down onto the ground. If we can't put it on the ground, we'll put it on a block. If we don't have a block, we will bend the bottom leg. And we'll take our peace fingers and grab the left big toe. That left leg's going to extend if the right leg isn't extended. Otherwise, both legs are going to be straight. And then really pressing down into that bottom hand, we're going to lift the left leg straight out to the side, so now the left leg is parallel to the ground. And again, remembering to breathe, even in these challenge poses. And then gently bring the left leg down, moving slowly and controlled. Coming back to your standing forward fold. Okay, from this forward fold, we're going to come down onto our knees, and we're going to set up for a frog pose, a Mandukasana. So if you have a blanket or something available for you, this will make the pose more comfortable and also a little bit more challenging. So both things at the same time. So I'm going to take this blanket and put it next to my mat, and I'm going to put my right knee onto the blanket. So I'm in my table position. I think you can't see me there. So my right knee is on the blanket, and I'm going to send the right leg out. So my knees are 90-degree angles, and I'm coming down onto my forearms. If that's easier for you, you're welcome to come onto your forearms. You're also welcome to come all the way down onto your chest. In this frog pose, a couple things to think about is you really want the knees to come straight out from the hips. So try not to have the hips in front of the knees or behind the knees. You want the hips to be right between the knees, and you want the feet to be right behind the knees. So we're really 90 degrees all over. So a 90-degree angle at the hip and a 90-degree angle at the knees. And this should be a big stretch into the groin for you. Gnasher has a really good frog pose. And to come out of this pose, we'll come back up onto the hands, and because we have that leg on a blanket, we can slide it back in. And we will do the same thing on the other side. So now we'll put the left leg onto the blanket. And we're going to put the right knee on the mat, and then we can lower down onto our forearms. Again, coming into our frog pose. So it's essentially the same thing, and the reason we're doing it on two sides is because of the blanket. So when we have one leg on the blanket, that leg can go a little bit further out to the side, slightly bigger stretch on that side perhaps. And then again, to come out, we're going to come onto the hands, press into the hands, and gently come back to our table position. And from our table position, we're going to tuck the toes, take the hands out 1 hand length so they're not right underneath the shoulders, they're a little bit in front of the shoulders, and then send the hips up and back to our downward facing dog and pedal it out. It's a really big stretch. Take any motions that you need in order to feel a little bit more balanced and more complete. Wiggle it out as necessary. And to stay warm, we're just going to shift forward to our plank pose. We're going to take the right knee and bring it to the side and then forward. So we're going to tap the tricep and then send it back. So we really want it to be side, tap, side, back, and then other side to the left now. Side, forward, side, back. Right side, side, tap, side, back. Left side, side, tap, side, back. Right side, side, tap, side, back. Left side, tap, side, back. And right side, tap, side, back. And last one, left, left side, tap, side, and back. And send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now we're going to take the right knee forward and we're going to place it down onto the ground, getting ready for our pigeon pose. So your pigeon pose can be anything that you need it to be. So traditionally the left hip would be down towards the ground and then it would be pretty square down towards the ground. But if it's more comfortable that left hip can be open and the knee can be open, really we want to find a stretch into the right gluteal muscles and into the right hip. And once you've found that stretch, you can relax forward into the pose, coming onto the forearms or laying down onto the chest or coming onto a block. If you are very flexible through the hips, you're in your pigeon pose and you're not really feeling a whole lot, it might be that you don't have enough of an angle in that front knee. So you can open up the front knee a little bit more so it's coming towards 90 degrees and then still try to square the back hip down towards the ground as you fold forward. And that will be a much bigger hip opener for you. My hips are not quite ready for that. And as we stay here in our pigeon pose for a couple breaths, maybe 8 to 10 breaths, we're going to try to relax into the hips. Try to release all of the muscles that are holding the hips up. Try to relax the lower back, relax the abdominal muscles. Then we'll come back up onto our hands, lifting the chest up. You can press into your hands to lift chest a little bit more, and that'll bring the stretch into the back hip instead of the front hip. Then tuck the back toes and send the hips up and back to your downward facing dog and pedal it out. Stretch it out. We don't want to lose all of that heat that we built just yet. So we'll come forward into our plank pose. straight out to the side, and then extend the right leg and step it back to your plank. The left knee to the side, extend the left leg and step it back to your plank. Right knee right, extend and back. Left knee left, extend and back. Right knee, extend and back. Left knee, extend and back. Right knee, extend and back. Left knee, extend and back. And last one, right knee, extend and back. And left, extend and back. And hips up, stretch out. And now we'll take our left leg forward for our pigeon pose. So left knee all the way forward towards the wrists and down. And figure it out, find the best stretch for you. So you may need to move from side to side. Really find the stretch that serves you the best. So whatever that means for the back leg, whatever that means for the front knee, really try to find the best stretch for your left gluteal muscles and your left hip joint. And when you've found that space, relax. Release into it as much as possible. Really try to let go of any of the muscles that are holding you up out of the pose. Pay attention to the muscles around the hip joints, the abdominal muscles, and the muscles of the lower back that might be lifting you up out of the pose and really tensing up. Send a deep breath there. Release, sink down. Really surrender to your pigeon pose. And walk your hands back towards your hips. Again, press into the hands to send the chest backwards. Big stretch. And then tuck the back toes. And send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stretch it out, pedal out the heels. Even it out. Do any movements that you need in order to feel even and complete. And then from here, we're going to do one of my favorite poses. Since we've been working on our hips for this whole class, we're going to do a couple of frog jumps. So frog jumps are great. You have your hands on the ground, you start in your downward facing dog, and you spring forward so that you come into a frog pose on your hands. And the springing forward comes from a jump, but also the opening of the legs into the frog pose. So as you lift the legs up and open, you can find a little bit more balance on your hands than you would normally. So it looks like this. You start in your down dog, come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look forward, and then spring up into a frog position and back down. And when you do a couple of these, you might find that you really get some hang time on your hands, which feels great. So let's do a couple together. We'll come up onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, and frog. And back. Take a second, set up your downward facing dog, then come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look forward, and frog. And back, downward facing dog. And we'll do one more. So if you're feeling timid about jumping, make this your biggest jump. We're going to come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look forward, and spring frog. And come back. From here, put your knees on the ground, hips on your heels, and we'll send the hips over to one side and the feet forward in front of us. We'll take a couple, we'll just actually one forward fold, and then we'll do a wide-legged forward fold. So Paschimottanasana first, inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, fold forward from the hips until you can't anymore, and then round the spine and grab hold of something. It could be your feet, ankles, legs, whatever works for you. We'll use our breath to get deeper into this pose. So with your inhalation, send the chest forward, and exhale, fold a little deeper. Inhale, extend the chest forward, and exhale, get deeper. Inhale one more time, lengthen out, send the chest forward, and exhale, fold deeper. And by taking these nice big breaths, using the breaths to get deeper into the pose, you can find your deepest forward folds. And with an inhalation, lift the head, look forward, reach forward, come all the way up to seated, and exhale the hands down. And then we'll do a wide-legged forward fold. So taking the legs nice and wide, you can stay facing forward and just open the legs up. I like to turn when I do these because I like my heels to stay on the mat. So if you want to turn, you're welcome to turn. We'll just open the legs up nice and wide, and we'll take a side stretch first. So we'll take the right hand up, and then we'll reach over to the left. This left hand can kind of scoop underneath you, and you can use the elbow to help support you, but keep the right fingertips reaching out past the foot. So not down, out, out, forward, longer, making that right side body as long as possible so that you feel a stretch from the hip to the rib cage, to the shoulder, and all the way to the fingers. And then we'll take a forward stretch. So you can fold forward, you can come onto the forearms if that works for you. You can come onto the chest if that's okay for you, or you can keep the hands on the ground. Try to keep your toes facing up, and really think about folding the body forward with the knees and the feet still staying upwards. And then walk the hands back, and we'll do the other side. Take the left hand up, and then over to the right. You can come onto the forearm, or you can send the right hand towards the left foot. And again, we're not going to try to grab that foot, we're going to try to reach past the foot. So the left hand is reaching past the right foot. So we really feel the stretch starting from the hip joint, moving up the side body to the rib cage, to the shoulder, and all the way to the hands. And then we'll come into the forward fold again. Trying to keep the toes facing up towards the ceiling. Letting the chest sink down towards the ground. And then coming back up to seated. And swing that right leg forward. And lay all the way down onto your back. And just do one bridge pose to get the hips over the heart and to stretch out the front side of the body. And if you have a block, have your block nearby, because we can do both versions of the bridge in one go. So keeping the hands down next to the hips, we're going to press into the hands to peel the hips up
off the ground, engaging the legs to keep the knees coming in towards each other, and then tucking the shoulders underneath us in order to just keep the hands actually not interlaced. So just reaching back towards the feet, lifting the hips up by pressing the feet into the ground. And now you have options. So from here, you still have your hands on the ground. You can now interlace the hands if you want to, or you could take a block and put the block underneath the sacrum and relax into the pose that way. If you don't have a block but you still want to have your supported bridge pose, you can take the hands underneath the sacrum. And there you kind of can use your forearms as a block. So using that structural support of the bones of the forearm, the radius and the ulna, you can keep your hips lifted without pressing into the feet really. And to come out, we'll take the block or our hands down. Untuck the shoulders. And then lower the hips down towards the ground, trying to lower one vertebra at a time, as if you could really just feel one vertebra touch the ground at a time, and leaving the hips last. And when the hips do reach the ground, you can draw the knees towards the chest, wrap the arms around the shins, and just gently rock from side to side. Just a small massage for the lower back, pressing the lower back down into the ground. And then plant the feet on the ground. Take your hands out to a T position. We're going to take the hips over a couple inches to the left, and then lower the knees down to the right. Make sure both shoulder blades stay on the ground. If you want to, you can use the right hand on the left knee to bring yourself a little bit deeper into the supine twist. If there's a different version you'd rather take, if you'd rather extend one or both of your legs, you're welcome to do that. Just try to take the same version on both sides. So if you know this is your good side and that you can't enjoy the same twist on the other side, then just take a smaller version of the twist so that you can stay pretty even in this last couple poses. And then we'll come back to center. Pick the hips up and over to the right. And then let the knees fall over to the left. Make sure the shoulder blades stay on the ground. Now you can use the left hand to draw the right knee down. Then come back up to center. Center out your hips, bring your knees into your chest, grab your shins again, rock from side to side. And then reach between your knees, grab your feet for your happy baby pose. You can keep your feet in towards your hips, or you can extend one leg or both legs, whatever makes you feel like a happy baby. Any last little stretches that you need to get out of your system before you come into your Shavasana, you can do that now. Then as you're ready, start to make your way into your Shavasana, your final resting pose. And extend your legs straight out in front of you. You can tuck your shoulders underneath you, tuck your hips underneath you. Your palms can be up or down. Your feet can roll out or in depending on what's more natural for your hips. If you want to add another layer of clothing so that you stay nice and warm, or if you want to cover your eyes or get a blanket, those are really nice things to help you enjoy your Shavasana. And once that you have found a really relaxing space for yourself, just let your eyes close. And just like at the beginning of class, bring your attention to your face. Pay attention to the muscles that you maybe usually use to express stress or distress. So notice your forehead, notice all the muscles around your eyes, the muscles around your mouth, and your jaw. And try to relax each of these places. And then take a scan through your body. From the top of your head down to your toes. Really noticing sensation in the body. So paying attention to any places that feel warmer, lighter, more open, more spacious than they might have felt before you joined me on your mat this evening. And if you come across any place that is tired or stretched, just send a little bit of gratitude to that part of your body for working for you, and also to yourself for taking care of that part of your body. And as you lay here on your mat and you get quieter and more still, and you start to feel heavier, like you're sinking down into the mat, maybe getting a little bit sleepy. Try to notice your thoughts without judging them. So any of your thoughts that are whipping by, any of the planning that you're doing for what you're going to do next, notice those things happening in your mind. Just let them happen and try not to follow them. And as you observe without judgment, maybe start to notice the space between the thoughts. And see if you can let that space grow, that quiet, blissful, peaceful space that is thought-free. Let that expand outwards. toes, waking up through the body, roll the wrists and the ankles. Reach overhead, take a nice big stretch from the fingertips to the toes. And then draw the knees up to the chest, wrap the arms around the shins, little hug inwards. And roll all the way over onto the right side. Use your arm as a pillow. Let the top shoulder fall down towards the ground. Then press into the hands to make your way back towards a comfortable seated position on the mats. And bring the hands together in front of your heart. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. And as always, thank you so much for practicing with me. Thank you for practicing with me virtually, even when we can't have class together, and I hope that we see each other soon. Okay, Gnasher, come here.